What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Come on in. It's Thursday. Happy afternoon, happy morning, happy evening. Greetings. Hope that you're doing well. We are going to have some fun. Do we have this in the title today? I think we do. What are we calling this? Hello. Let me know if you can hear me okay, and let me know where you are in the world. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, and I was in Chicago the last couple of days. I'm back in St. Louis, so Midwest region. But please let me know. Hopefully you can hear me okay. We're trying a little bit of a different setup, which is always fun. I got a different hat on, which always changes things up. Yeah, we're doing good. We hope you're doing good. We're going to shed on a standard today that I will give you a little bit of a hint as to what it is. I'll give you a few more hints as we get going. How long do we have here? I got my first countdown timer in a long time. We're at 3 minutes and 43 seconds. As you can see, we're going to get started with today's lesson. We're going to have some fun. We're going to learn some things. We're going to be talking solo piano. We're going to be talking Duke Ellington. We're going to be talking about how do you play a ballad out of time, how do you play it in time, all that kind of good things. So good to see you guys. Cleveland, Ohio is in the house, where I recently was as well. Nova Scotia, what's up, Nova Scotia? Finland, Vancouver, London, what's up, Amani? Johannesburg, South Africa, wonderful place. California, another wonderful place. What's up, Germany? United Kingdom. Hastings, not familiar with Hastings. I'm familiar with Hastings on Hudson in, where is that? New York. All that stuff in the New England and New York and New Jersey, it's all stolen from the UK. All the names. Figured that out. Seoul, South Korea. 2 a.m., just south of Seoul. What's up? More South Africa in the house. We can hear you. Good. You can see me. You can hear me. Adam Manis is in the house. What's up, Adam, in St. Louis? Spain, Serbia. What's up, Serbia? Solitude. Bruce has it. New Jersey. See, I just mentioned New Jersey. Then it happens. What's up, Russia? Strong Island. Long Island, Strong Island. What part of the island? I wonder. It's a big island. I had a gig once at the end of the island, and we drove out from New York, and it took us 4 hours. It was on a Friday evening. What's up, Stan? First time tuning in. Young musician from UK. All right. Welcome in. Philly, Edinburgh. Let me check my time here. Minute 57 seconds. 5 minutes should seem like a long time. I don't know if you guys saw a recent episode of the You'll Hear It podcast, but we wrote a song, a composition. We were corrected. It's not a song because it doesn't have words, although somebody put words to it. We wrote a new composition in 30 minutes, Adam Manis and myself, which was fun, which was very fun. Göteborg, Gothenburg, Sweden, which I believe is said Göteborg, if I said that correctly. I was correct. I was taught that when I went there. What's up, Mexico? Hola. ¿Cómo está? Argentina is in the house. Chicago is in the house. I had so much fun in Chicago a couple days ago. It was so hot. Hotter than even in St. Louis. Very unusual, but windy. That's why it's called the Windy City. What's up, Gaza? Sao Paulo, Brazil. Grozny. Rouen, France. I've been to Rouen, but I think it's Rouen. New Orleans, where you at? Moscow, Russia. Tampa, Florida. Belgium. Cape Cod. Boston. Congratulations to the Celtics. Very exciting win for the Celtics. The greatest franchise, apparently. Most number of championships. A great franchise as well. Italian. Lake of the Ozarks. Wilmington, North Carolina. Finland. Deerfield Beach, Florida. Very close to where I was born. Reunion Islands. Never been there. Can't even find it on a map, but I will look. Seward, Nebraska. Seward. Nice. Midwest. Is that Midwest or is that West? Plymouth, UK. Dublin, Ireland. I love Dublin immensely. Dreams of walking around in St. James Park there. Hamburg, Germany. I love Hamburg. Very, very wonderful memories of running along the water there, sit through some of the most beautiful, bougiest residential neighborhoods I've ever been in. Nassau County, Long Island, next door to Queens. Yeah, so you're close in, close in. Holland is present. All right, Washington Heights, New York, north of the city. Nepal. Wow, that's exciting. Okay, so we are going to get started in just a second here. I'm getting my screens going. Oh, there we go here. Oh, we're at 0. So we're about to get started. So we're going to be starting. You can download, I believe there's a PDF here. If it's not there, it'll be up there soon attached to this, which is just the lead sheet to this. And I'm going to be showing it on the screen. Let's just test that out as well because we got some new stuff. There it is. That's available for you to download. This is from the Jazz Piano Method, of which I've got over 700 lessons now over at Open Studio. So I'm going to be going through some kind of new ideas, but I have lessons on this tune as well as a number of others. We'll talk about that a little bit at the end. But this is the main chart. I've got the A section there. This is just a little extra practice time for myself. Oh, this one's going to be fun here. There's the A section. There's the corrected A section. We'll get to that. There's the A and the B section. Of course, it's AABA. And there's the whole thing. So that's kind of what's happening. All right, we ready to go? What's up, everybody? Welcome. We are studying the great Duke Ellington's wonderful composition, Solitude, today. This is such an amazing song. I thought it would be fun if we kind of went over some solo piano ideas for playing rubato, out of time, and also even some playing in time, but mainly just try to come up with some simple strategies, some simple ways to navigate this tune. I think it's so wonderful. It sounds so great, and I really think it's a great example if we can find the on-ramps to less is more, to really being able to play this in a beautiful way. But before we get there, let's look at this A section. We're in AABA form, as you can see here. Here's the entire chart. We've got A, it repeats, and then B, and then the last A is exactly like the first A. So if you kind of get the form of this, the structure of it from the beginning, and then some of these very simple techniques in order to make it beautiful, I think that you'll have a great foundation. So let's take a look just at the A, okay? So the whole tune is diatonic. We're in the key of D flat major. And what that means, it's interesting. A lot of people miss this or kind of jump over this when they start to learn a tune like this. And I think that they're really losing a chance to understand something at a very foundational level. And that is the melody and the root movement and how they relate. So when we talk about the melody is entirely diatonic within the D flat major, all that means is that every note within the melody, and even if we look at the entire melody, we go to the bridge. Everything, even as the chords change, the melody's still D flat major, right? Then the last A is the same as the first A, okay? So for this first A, that's the bare bones. That's just the basics, right? That's where we want to start with. We want to understand that relationship between the melody and the root. No matter what octave we're in, that major seventh, because that'll help us to be able to fill in. And then we slide down. So, okay, D flat major, we're basically just there for those first 6 beats. And what I have in parentheses is something that I commonly play. A lot of people play this. We go D flat major, and then we go to the 5 with the raised 5th. But you could also, you could do anything on the 5, or you could just stay on the 1, right? And then we go B flat major, B flat minor, and then to that 2. So the basic function leads up to this E flat, right? We've got all this D flat major. Now, an interesting thing about this is actually not the original chords. This sort of became the standard way of playing this, but I want you to check this out. This is the original. G half diminished to the 4, G flat major, then G flat minor 7, G flat minor major 7. Now, I don't always play it like that. Sometimes I'll do it on the last A. Sometimes I'll do it just as a little bit of a, kind of tip of the hat to Duke Ellington at some point, because I do like it. It's just one of those things that's changed over time, but it is kind of nice to know it. Okay, back to the way most of us are playing it. And so even as I start to flesh out the chords, I'm really highlighting that rooted melody. I'm even playing them first, then filling in the chords. E flat 7. E flat minor. Okay, so now we have the basic flow of the tune. 1, 2, dominant, with the real implication of that sharp 11 there, right? And then the 2 dominant becomes 2 minor to 5. So really pretty melody, but very basic harmony, right? I'm just playing the shell here, 7th and 3rd. Very basic stuff, okay? So what can we add in there to make it sort of sound fun? So we can do that. We can do that. The first one I'm doing is D flat major, but I'm making it into a major 7, but also a major 6 and a 9. So it's like a D flat 6, 9. I got the root, the 3rd, the 6th, the 9th, and then I got the 5th. And the only reason I have the 5th in there, a lot of times we can omit it, is because with the melody on the major 7th, that gives us a nice A flat major 2nd inversion. Try it. But if you try these kinds of things and you like the way that sounds better, that's fine. It's very close, right? Now, with what I have in the middle, this is great because we have all perfect force. So anything that I want to do chromatically with those can be like it's moving around from a little bit of an inner melody. A lot of times you hear pianists doing that stuff and you're like, how are they doing all that? It could be chromatic movement, it could be diatonic movement. In this case, it's chromatic. But just because it's chromatic doesn't mean you have to play it only chromatically. So that's still chromatic type of movement, right? Like, whereas diatonic movement would be more like where I'm moving up and down that D flat major scale. And then now what I'm doing, I'm just breaking it up. Now, if you do this with that voicing, and of course that's not the only voicing. You can do that, you can do that. But I do like the openness of this. Now when you go to the A flat sharp 5, this is kind of, in terms of voice leading, this is sort of your obvious place to go. So it'd be D flat major 6/9, and then, and you can think about this as like a D9 over A flat, but really it's just the voice leading. Look. Right? And I'm just splitting them up in the hands so that I can still reach down here. It's the same notes. And then B flat minor 7. If you want to kind of make it a little more modern sounding, I use the 11th instead of the 5th. See how that one note changes it? And then we got the E flat 7. And remember I told you it's got a little bit of a little implication of a sharp 11. You don't have to play it, but it works good there. That kind of a thing. And then one thing you can do is, check it out. So we're going, but instead of just going straight there, a lot of times we might want to do a little glissando coming into it. Is that a glissando? I mean, I know this is a glissando, but this is a chromatic glissando, right? But you don't have to go all the way. You could go, and you could start on the B flat, but I like starting on the A because that gives you a little bit of that sharp 11, right? And I'm doing a walk up with tenths. Now, I can't reach that one, so I'm going to break that up. I can reach that one. I can reach that one. And what we're doing is E flat 7, F minor 7, G flat fully diminished. And this is just root and shell. So root, 7th and 3rd, root 7th and 3rd, root 7th and 3rd. You could go to F sharp minor 7, but that's diminished. There's a lot of variations on this. You can kind of play the ones that you think sound good. What did I do first? Oh. Yeah, you can break them all up. And if you can't reach those other ones, no problem. You can go. Use both hands, right? And look, I just switched over to pinky on the top note. Different variations. I jump down with the right hand at the bottom and catch the top note of that 3-note voicing. And then we just got that 2-5-1. What can we do to kind of spice that up? How about that? So we're going bar 5, E flat minor 7, and then we'll go up to just hover around a little bit of A major 7, sharp 11. That Lydian sound as an approach to the A flat 7. And instead of going right to the A flat 7, I'm actually going to go to a sus, A flat 13 sus. And then to a D over A flat 7. See that D major triad? So really it's an A flat 7, flat 9, sharp 11. Starting back at bar 5. A major 7, sharp 11. Sus. Okay, so let me just back. Okay, what did I do at the first ending? Yes, okay, so check this out. This was a line that Duke Ellington loved to use. I even heard Billy Strayhorn use this. What was it, on Money Jungle? I think Duke Ellington uses this, but this. They love that kind of sound. And you can use this. I'm just going root 5. So these are stacked fifths is what they are. Perfect fifth, perfect fifth. We're going root 5, 9, up to the 10th, right? And then you can go to the major 6, to the major 9. You can do a lot of fancy stuff, but the foundation of it is that. And then you could even go, if you wanted to, and then maybe to the 5. Then second A. And this technique, some people like this, some people don't. You can do it, use it if you like it. So this is just, octaves, but instead of, which is nice, it's kind of, so the melody's really up here, but we're just sort of grace noting, tying it in, right? That's a little harder, but it's possible, the glissando with the octaves. And then maybe you go back to single line there. And that substitution, or really it's more of like an approach kind of transitional chord, E flat minor 7, A major 7 that we did before. We can do other things. That's like a A major 7, like a D flat over A major 7. You could do kind of like that. So E flat minor, F7 sharp 9, flat 13, G flat major, and then you get to your A flat 7. There it is. Now we're going to go to the bridge. So I've got that second ending, we just got, which is what it is, D flat major to D flat 7. So the 1 becomes the 5, and then the bridge is going to the 4. So now the 4 becomes the 1. We're in G flat major. Let's put that up there. Here we that's the other changes. We're going to get to those again. Now we're going second ending. And instead of just to the D flat 7, you can go, we can get fancy if you want. It's just a 2-5-1 going into the G flat major. Maybe with a little tritone substitution. Now, for this, we can use the G flat major 7 with the major 6-9 as well. That's the major 7, 6, 9. So we got 4, and then we're going up a half step, and then we're going to the back to the real 1, the D flat major, the tonic key, but over the 5. And then 2-5-1 back to bar 14. This is kind of the harmonic structure, right? To that 4 again. So we got. So the diminished chords are always the fully diminished chords are a little bit tricky because they can be very like basic bob if you just play the 1, 3, 5, 7. So ways that you can spice those up, but also use that basic bob sort of to your advantage. If you think about like moving through those, that's not very exciting. But if you go, I'm still moving through the diminished cycle, so moving up or down in minor thirds, but instead of just 1, 3, 5, diminished 7th, I'm shifting that diminished 7 up to a major 7. I forget the name of this chord, but it's a fun one, right? Is that sugar chords? I don't know. Kush chords, it's one of those. So we got the diminished triad, and look, you can do this anywhere. You can do it chromatically as well, but here we're on G, fully diminished. So we go 1, minor 3rd, diminished 5th, major 7th. And then we just move that shape up and down in minor thirds. That's the diminished circle or diminished cycle. So. See, it gives it a little bit more crunch. And then we can keep using the major 6-9 sound. Now we're doing it without the major 7 because the melody's on the root. And that would clash a little bit. And that's okay down here, but it sounds better to open it up. Root 3, 6, 9, 5. Okay, how did I get, this is bar 13. So we're circling back 2 to 5 like we did on the second ending to go to that G flat major, to that 4 chord, to our temporary tonic, right? So how can we spice that up? This is bar 12. How about a little, or a, see, like you just change one note in a voicing, it's a totally different thing. That's why you want to really not just pay attention to the chords or to substitutions, but to the actual voicings, to the actual shapes, because they can be so different. Okay, so what am I doing? This is bar 12, D flat major 6/9 over A flat. And then on that last beat, I'm going F2 or F mu. I guess that's F mu, yeah. F2 over A, but this is just fourths, no third in it. F2. With the third, the third's there, but it's in the root, in the bass. And then to that A flat minor, and then D flat 7. And then I'm approaching, throwing in a little bit of an approach chord. F7 flat 13. And then sliding up. So it's an approach from beneath. A little bit of like a backdoor 5, you might call it. F7 flat 13 on that last beat going into bar 14. So this is what it sounds like, bar 12, 13, 14. Diminished in a second. Let's go back to bar 14, the second half of our bridge. Now I did something there like, so when we think about little counter melodies that we can start to do with our left hand, we can get overwhelmed and be like, oh my God, what am I doing? This is so much. Start small. You know what I mean? Start with something simple. Start with something that you can hear. So if I use this voicing, very basic, root 5, 7, you would think that root 3, 7, because that's root and shell, would work better. But this is a great sounding voicing at this register of the piano. And so all I'm doing is, I'm hearing that top note and I'm connecting it. Or you could just, and then you could either go or any of those diminish. I'm just glissandoing between those minor thirds. Last A. And this is a great place to put in a little bit of a da-da. Or you could do that too, that's nice. D flat, fully diminished, sliding up to the major 7. That's a classic. You know, you got, let me do the right. It's often done on Misty. Errol Garner did it, but I think it works good here. But if you don't like it, don't do it. But we know we've got that in our back pocket. We can pull that out at any time. And I'm going to go back here to, this is the A section, but the last A is exactly the same as the first A. So if we think about this, the fully diminished whole half scale, we can get that major 7th again, minor diminished triad, that kind of a thing. And you know, one thing about this I like to do as well, I love that shape, but I also like this, just getting rid of the thirds. So if we go, this is that classic, usually used over like a dominant 13 kind of sound. Like that kind of thing. But we can use that over the diminished. And then resolve it to the major 7, right? And you can always throw in some cool chromatic stuff. Resolve's nice, right? That's that walk up. And that's a very, Duke Ellington and Billy Strayhorn love that voicing. Another thing is, if you find something that you like, and I'm giving you some examples of here, and I think that you'll, you know, part of like exploring, especially when we're playing rubato, playing slowly, that kind of a thing. What's fun is to, what was the one? It's like to get into trying these different things and then break it back down. To just that root melody. and see what you can hear. So like, because that thing, and we went to that in bar 5, we went to that A major 7 Lydian sound as an approach to the A flat 7. That's great, and when you have the chords, you'll hear that. But if you can start to incorporate that into your melodic ideas as well, you'll really be going somewhere. So check it out. I'm gonna start at the top. Just root and melody, but with a little bit of playing around, right? That Lydian sound, Lydian down. So what I did there is going up the E flat minor, but then I'm going A major 7 sharp 11, right? Because then when you start to add everything back in, you'll have some ideas. Right? And what gave me this idea is when I got to the end, the very end of the tune, and I was here and I'm trying to think, do I want to show them going into time? Because that's part of what we're learning today as well. We're rubato now. And then like, what do we do at the end when we've got these 2 bars, right? Let's go back to the entire chart there, right? So what do? We can, 1 to 5, 2, 5. We've always got those things. But I was kind of hearing that A major 7 that we threw in that first day. So maybe it's, and then to the 2-5, right? Okay, so let's get into a little bit of playing time. This is the kind of ballad that you can actually play pretty quickly, okay? And it can be sort of flexible, so. Even sounds like it's fast. It sounds slow, right? If you didn't know that tune, but that's there, right? And so what we can do is when we get to improvising, by just playing, these are half notes, right? And I don't have to just do those, but if I use that as the foundation and then kind of a little bit freer on top, I can calibrate the ballad feel, or if I want to go into just with my right hand, right? But I can go right back to the ballad at any time. Like a real, like kind of double time feel, or at least implied. And especially when we're playing solo piano, it's easier to slide in and out of these different feels than if you're playing with a rhythm section. Ballad, right? And the types of things that we did as we learned the melody and a few of these little navigational things that I gave y'all. I mean, substitution, some of them are substitution, some of them are just filling in with some interesting ideas. So use these, come up with your own, find ones from recordings. There's a lot of ways to get to them. But what's fun is if you incorporate those into the solo as well. So like right there, I was on that, what is that bar? Bars 3 and 4. That E flat 7, which comes back, every time A, B, A. So every time the A section on the 3rd and 4th bar. And you can just solo over that, like I said, with that Lydian dominant kind of a sound. But the walk up, F minor, G flat, fully diminished to E flat over G, that walk up. You could actually improvise over that, 2 beats each, or you could do, stagger it rhythmically or whatever. But it's fun to kind of use those ideas. And then we're at bar 5. That's that A major 7. And you don't have to be like cookie cutter right on 1 or on 3 or whatever. You can break it up. 1, 2, 3. I just threw it in on the 4th beat. And there what I did was, so we're in bar 6. So A flat 7. And remember I showed you this D over A flat. And a lot of people are like, yeah, well that's just A flat 7, flat 9, sharp 11. But by saying D over A flat 7, once we get to improvising, if you remember it, that becomes an interesting shape for you to create melodies with, right? Second A. Remember that one? Maybe you just do it on the improvised section. Now we're going to go to the bridge. Remember that? When you learn little things, when you start to hear them, don't worry about, I copied that from Peter. I copied that from whoever. No. This is all out there. All this music is out there. It's yours. It's mine. It's all of ours. What you want to do is to repeat it more than you think. All right? It's just like a great joke. People that have really good jokes and then you've heard them before, but they deliver them so well that you don't mind. They're like, have you heard this story before? Have I told you this joke before? Certain friends of yours, you'll tell them. I do this all the time. I'll be like, no, you never told me, because I still want them to tell it to me. I already know what the punchline is, but the delivery is going to be great. So these things that you develop as you're playing rubato on a tune like this, start to try to force yourself into incorporating them over the time, because that's how you start to be able to navigate new techniques, new ideas. You know what I mean? And if you want to be able to get to the point where you're improvising with both hands, that's really the way that you do it. You find something that you can repeat and that maybe, falls within your hands that you can kind of count on, and then you're improvising up here, right? And lots of different ways to do it. That was that. And so there I was thinking, what's the equivalent of 7th to the 5th, 7th to the 5th of the D flat major. See, remember that? That half step beneath, backdoor approach to the 4 chord that we played around with on the melody? That comes in handy. Remember that voicing? Chord tenor voicing. Over the diminished. So So this is another thing. I don't remember if I showed you this at the beginning. I think I did. So we can walk up, and I especially like to do this later on, like maybe the last A of the AABA. Kind of like we did over the E flat 7, the 2 dominant, right? We can do it over the. So it's like D flat major, E flat minor, maybe E diminished or E minor 7, and then 3 to 6, and that'll lead you right to there. But one way to think about it is, so like a real modern approach. So 6-9, D flat major 6-9, root 3 6-9, and then we're gonna go E flat minor the 2 11, and these are straight 4s. These are almost straight 4s, but this is all diatonic so far, still within D flat major. So E flat, the 11th, the 7th, and then the 3rd on top, and then we're just gonna go up. We could either go over the E, or maybe that's nice. Remember we talked about just changing one note, how it can hook it up. That's nice, right? What is it? So that's that 6-9, 3-6-9, and then the E flat minor 11, and that kind of gives it that. Well, this is great because you got the 7th and the 6th, so you got that kind of 11, 7th, 3rd, 6th, and then we're gonna go, instead of just going up chromatically, we're going C2 over E, a little moo action. And then that's like F minor 7 or D flat major over F. So that's it. That's Solitude. Some little entry points. Remember, that's your starting point. See, I threw that in. That's not part of the original melody, but it's fine to play it like that. But because I was cognizant and also able to hear that melody as being all diatonic within the D flat, when I add in a passing tone, when I add in a different shape, whatever, I can hear that as outside of what the original is. And we always have the opportunity and the wonderful opportunity to do that. We want to have that, but it starts. You hear me, like you see me kind of almost like, oh, because I know I'm leaving that diatonic situation, which is where the fun stuff happens. All right? There's Solitude. Thank you guys for being here. I've got a couple things to show you, and I can take a couple of questions if you would like. So I'm going to get back at the chat. I wanted to show you guys. Let me see if I can do this. Nope, we already did that. There we go, jazz piano method. So I have this thing. A lot of you are aware. We've got a bunch of folks that have been with me. I have over 700 lessons just like this. If you like this kind of thing, you need to come over to Open Studio, because I do a lesson like this every week. And for Open Studio Pro folks, I actually do it live. But it's just to say, if you'd like to come over, we have a 14-day free trial that's not going to be up forever. It's going to be gone soon. No pressure, but you can come over and you can go through the archive. You can see the new lessons that I do, but it's tunes like this, bebop, blues, New Orleans stuff, Stevie Wonder, all the stuff that I like, stuff that you guys request. But please consider that. It's just part of what's happening at Open Studio. We've got wonderful courses from Adam Manis, from Fred Hirsch, from Christian McBride, Diane Reeves, a whole bunch of folks. But the jazz piano method, what I did here today is kind of typifies and is an example of what I do there every week. So if you like this, please join us. You can join for 14 days and then no questions asked, very easy to cancel. You don't have to like call me personally or send an email and hope that I'm gonna like get back to you. No, you just go into your account and click a thing and then you never get charged. You could just watch for the first 14 days for free, and if it's not for you, no problem. You spent nothing. You can watch as much as you want. And also, it's a good time because we have Kiefer. Do you guys know Kiefer? One of my favorite of the young-ish pianists. I think he's a great player and a fantastic teacher. He's going to be doing a mentor session for us. So if you become a member today or anytime before Friday, you'll get free access to that. Mentor sessions we do every Friday, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern, something like that. And it's just for the Open Studio community. It's over Zoom, and we have amazing artists like Kiefer, and we had Ron Carter last week. I mean, we have really the greats, the masters of this music that come through and do these live sessions for us and do Q&As, and it's a very special thing. So you can consider that. And I mean, you know, the jazz piano method, it's like, I mean, I've done a lot of, this is some of the scrolling through. I was like, wow, these are the kind of things that I do. Scrabble from the Apple, Naima, Olio, Burke's Works. I forgot about that. All of you, Before It's Time, Lament. Kind of modern tunes, older tunes, obscure tunes, My Cherie Amour, you know, Take Five. I forgot I did all this. This is just from the last couple years. So just to say that there's a lot happening over there. So if you have any questions about saxophone, yes, we have a great course from Steve Wilson, who is, I think, one of the finest saxophonists. Like, he's sort of been a Star Wars, a main dude of the jazz saxophone scene in New York City since I first went up there in 1987. But before that, I mean, he's played with everybody. He's led his own bands. He's made great records. He's kind of first call, and he's an amazing teacher. He's taught for many years. So we have a course from Steve Wilson. We have some lessons from Melissa Aldana and some other folks that I'm forgetting. Maybe somebody from Open Studio will drop in here. We don't have a huge saxophone offering, but we have some good stuff. And we have some good piano courses that work really good for any instrument. You know, certainly jazz piano Jumpstart, which Adam Manis and myself collaborated on, is we have a lot of non-pianists on that. Jazz pianos for beginners, for sure. So, okay. Do you guys have any questions? Sorry, I should have said that before. Play it in Bill Evans style. That's more of a request. If you have any questions about Open Studio or what I did in the lesson here, Duke Ellington, I'm not like a Duke Ellington. Yeah, show me that D, Peter, over A flat. Yeah, I think I showed it, but you know, these kind of voicings, like a lot of times they'll be based upon a tritone substitution. So this is A flat 7, so we're just going to D as the tritone away. And then I'm kind of thinking about, certainly, you know, the half-whole diminished scale as kind of a container for what we can do. So the D triad, of course, is part of that, but it's almost like but it's its own thing too. It's like it's its own shape, right? And if we go altered, then we can use like D triad with the second as well. And then you can find different ways to voice it out, especially rootless two-handed voicings. So, like I described it, I think, in the earlier as D over A flat 7. So even if you go like root position, then it starts to sound like Stravinsky. But if you go root and 7, but then you can do stuff like, so that's like A flat 13, that same fourth voicing, perfect fourth tritone. And then I'm just going different inversions of the D triad. A little bit of chromatic above and below. Yes, yes, yes. Duke Ellington's videos are great. Oh, I got a note. Okay, great. I got a note. It's a secret. It's a secret, though. Cool. All right. Thank you guys so much for your kind words. Um, Tomas, hello, Peter. I'm a member and enjoy your lessons very much. My question, how would you use the D flat blues scale for improvisation in this tune? You know, I may not have used, maybe I did use it some. You know, the blues scale, the first place that jumps to mind is like that last day when we went D flat fully diminished, sliding up to the D flat major. And then same thing, blues scale, sliding up to a major scale. But that's probably more that diminished scale. But it does work. Let me see another place. Nah, not really there. So over the E flat 7, if you use it, you would use the tonic probably. Right? D flat, blues scale, sitting on top of that E flat 7. And you can kind of use it anywhere. There, you can use over the G fully diminished second bar of the bridge. But the same thing, it's kind of like all over a blues too. You're usually going to be using the tonic key blues scale. So. But this is such a kind of tender sort of song, not the way I was playing it just now, but you want to be careful with the blues. Not that the blues can't be tender, but it's got that sound, right? And so, I don't know, maybe it's like, maybe there's a world where that works. You know, that's the fun of this, is like getting these different sounds and like seeing if they work, not forcing them in, but looking at what the possibilities are, not being cookie cutter as far as like, the rules say use the blues scale only on the blues, you know. Got that Scriabin thing down. I do not have that Scriabin thing down, but thank you. Peter, what does the simplest version of the standard sound like? Well, that was kind of what I was... That's really it. I mean, I guess the simplest is... In my solitude. You know, it's just the melody there. But that's kind of breaking it down very basic like that is where you start to get the phrase. You know, a lot of times... Like, I think the real beauty of playing this, like, we can get caught up in like what we're playing beneath, but if you can play the melody beautifully. Some surprises to yourself. You know, so practicing the melody on its own, really getting the integrity of that line, and then adding those things underneath, I think is where it's at. Yes, the simplest version of the tune can be amazing. Exactly. All right, cool. Do we have any other? Boom, boom, boom. Thank you guys all for being here, for spending a little bit of your, what are we at, Thursday? I hope your summer's going well. Is it hot where you are? Maybe drop that into the chat. It is you know, I don't think it's that hot here. I was out for a run this morning, and but because I had been looking at the New York Times, because I'm that guy, before that, and I saw how it was in New York and Boston and different places. That got me in my mindset, oh, it's not that bad here. So it's something we can do for our musical inspiration as well. Every session with Peter and Adam makes me a better musician in person. So endlessly inspiring. That's what we're here for. That's our service. Like that. Thank you for saying that, Mike. I appreciate your words. We're really, I'm always getting inspiration from different places, and I've taken inspiration from so many people, so much music, people that I know, teachers that I had, but even people that don't know they're inspiring me. So I definitely, we really look at a goal of everything. We look at as a goal of everything we do here at Open Studio ultimately is to give inspiration for folks to be able to practice, to get better, to really find joy in the process of practicing. That's like the ultimate, because then everything else sort of flows from that. You're going to get better. And even the days when you don't get better, maybe you retrograde a little bit, you're still inspired about the journey. That's what's fun about it. And for me, having done this for a long time, not the longest, but for a while, that's what makes it exciting every day. I'm not so much looking at like, what is the result of where I'm going to get at the end of today? I'm like, where's it going to be at the end of the journey? I mean, that's kind of morbid, right? The end of the journey is when you die. But the idea is that like it's almost like waves coming in, like our development. When you're at the ocean, the waves are coming, but sometimes there's like a lull. Sometimes it almost looks like they're going backwards. But in general, it keeps coming. Like everything keeps, and sometimes the waves are big, and you're it's a great day, and you've got sometimes the waves too big and you can't handle it. But the idea is like all the waves are beautiful, and we want to get on those and ride those big ones when we can. All right, cool. Well, what's your favorite standard? Peter, I don't know. This one's really is up there. So kind of my favorite standard is the last one that I've been thinking about. I mean, a lot of times talk about D flat major. It's a great key, D flat major. A lot of tunes written in this key, so that's D flats on my mind. Those three probably would come to mind. Modal interchange was great. More of that. You hear that, Adam? They want more modal interchange. He's around here somewhere. Thanks, Robbie. Selflessly given. Your playing is beautiful. Thank you for the fabulous lesson. Appreciate that. It's pretty hot out here in India. Kind of unbearable. Peace from Germany. Good. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be back at some point for another live. Again, real quick, because I've got my new technology here. Boom. Jazz piano method is almost exactly what I did here today. So if you hated this, do not come to Open Studio Join. If you love this lesson, or even if you kind of liked it, come over and join us for free trial. Here's some of the lessons again. I'm so excited that I was able to pull this up. I'm controlling this myself. So what can I say? These are Olio. All of you. Dolphin dance. Blues on the corner. Stardust. Stella by Starlight. Crepuscule with Nella. I'm just reading what it says. Crazyology. Okay, I'm going to leave you guys with a quick story about that tune, Crazyology, as I slop my way through it. Great Benny Harris tune. Of course, Charlie Parker played it, Dizzy Gillespie. It's rhythm changes, but it's like super hard. I did a trio gig with Christian McBride 2 weeks ago in Louisville, Kentucky, and we just like, it was really fun. We just sort of, he was just sort of calling tunes and like, what are you feeling like, whatever. For some reason, I was like, what about Crazyology? And McBride's like, he sort of played that one. I said, yeah. He's like, all right, cool. And, he kind of counted off. I was like, oh boy, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I looked up as I'm playing it, McBride is playing the melody. Like, right up in this register, like killing it. like better than I'm playing it on the piano, and I called the tune, and it just goes to show you, like, there's another level. There's another level to this game, and McBride definitely inspired me with that one. So there you go. Now I'm just pressing stuff. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. I'm going to see you next time. Peace and piano